top secret document of this era that wasn't stamped top secret magic, something else, something prosaic. And you were able to take a little thing, a little dot out of it, and compare them. You send it off to a forensic laboratory to do it. And they write a report and say, so he had a lot of information, and I think he was one of the people that was probably recruited to declassify material at Fort Meade, because he had all these tickets and clearances, and he was sympathetic to young Tim, who he knew through his father. And when his FOIA requests came by, he decided to do some leaking. And that's how I think it happened for Tim. And over several years, he got a variety of mailbox drops. I have some of the original envelopes. Some were mailed to his post office box. Some were put inside his post box. Some were mailed from Sacramento. One of the most interesting ones, which is original documents. This is the Bowen Encyclopedia of Flying Saucers. So, sort of changing the subject a little bit, Vernon Bowen wrote this book about Encyclopedia of Flying Saucers, basically a history of flying saucers from 1960 backwards. And he went to the New York Public Library, did a lot of research. He was a copywriter. And he submitted this to the Air Force as being a duly good citizen. And it went in and never came back out, except 39 years later from the Freedom of Information Act office at Fort Meade, Maryland, to Tim Cooper. And this original document, which I have here, it says the highest classification for this document is top secret magic, no foreign dissemination, for U.S. eyes only, exempt for declassification or RADA, originating agency.
This is the original one.
This is the original paper. They came. I have other original pieces of paper. You'll never see that except out of my hands or out of my safe. But I'd love to we did forensic on ink and paper and pencil marks, but we can't get exemplars to compare against the inks when the top secret stamped, this red stamp that's here.
Yeah.
So to do forensics on that, you need to punch out a little hole and do...
On that.
Well, no, on this.
Right.
This is the most... File copies probably. We can do both, but you need to do liquid chromatography on the dots.
Liquid chromatography?
Liquid chromatography on the dots to do the forensic analysis, but you got to have something to compare with.
What is that? Liquid chromatography?
So you punch out a little hole, you put in some chemicals, and it goes out a gel, and it fingerprints.
Oh.
It fingerprints the ink. That's really the principle. So you can fingerprint the ink. So if you have another example, like you went to the National Archives, found another top secret manual or top secret document of this era that wasn't stamped top secret magic, something else, something prosaic, and you were able to take a little thing, a little dot out of it, and compare them. You send it off to a forensic laboratory to do it. And they write a report and say, yep, we compared the two inks. They're of the same batch or style. They were both Air Force inks. Then you have something you say, oh, I can prove in a court of law that this is really from this era. And so that's the forensics that you have to do to sort of prove things to the next level. But the National Archives will never let you take their original document and put a little hole in it.
Of course.
And take it out. So
how did you get this again?
This was mailed to Tim Cooper. This is 300 pages.
But did he give it to you?
Yeah, he gave it to my father and I, who just passed away 3 weeks ago.
Oh, your dad passed away 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, he was 96, and he had been investigating UFOs earnestly since 1967.
Wow.
He was a theoretical, well, he was a physicist and a rocket scientist at McDonnell Douglas, and then McDonnell Douglas, and then Boeing.
Oh, at Boeing too.
At Boeing too.
Oh, he hit them all.
He hit him. Well, that's the same program, same company. You know, Douglas became McDonnell Douglas, it became Boeing. So they were all there.
I know, but he hit every era.
When he retired in '93, he was working on the space station.
Wow.
Yeah. So he did rockets. I did this anti-gravity program at Douglas Aircraft Company. And he did a lot of contributions. He wrote this book, Alien Viruses.
Alien viruses.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. This cover right here.
Alien Viruses is available on Amazon.
I'm getting some flashbacks.
Yeah. There we go. This is Biowarfare MJ12 and Crashed UFOs. So it goes a little bit more into the biowarfare aspect, because one of the leaked Majestic documents, I think it's the 5th annual report, talks about the serums collected from the samples of the Roswell aliens can launch us to unheard of heights in biological and chemical warfare.
All right. Yeah. Based on what sources do we know that?
Well, that's one of the leaked documents. It's in a paragraph in one of the leaked documents. It's on Majestic Documents.
One of the Majestic ones.
On the majesticdocuments.com website.
Now, your dad, who's quite literally a rocket scientist, did this for many, many years.
Yeah.
Friends with guys like Stanton Friedman.
Yeah, Stanton Friedman worked for him for 3 months.
Worked for him. So your dad is obviously a genius. And yet, for so many years, he felt like this was something worth using his genius for, pursuing the investigation of potential craft that the government could be in possession of.
Yeah, I mean, he had seen lights in the sky and forensics. He sort of decided to focus on authenticating documents as sort of his focus, and I tagged along for the ride. And we have so much in the way of the Majestic documents now. And we've done a lot of authenticity that I'm carrying on the mantle of advocating for the trove of documents that have been leaked so far, and talking about why they're authentic. It's not that I'm, head over heels. Every document can be investigated so far, and they have, like crashes, have authenticity. Some can be thoroughly investigated, and some you can't do much with. Like the Aquarius documents, for example, it was another leak, but it was allegedly a briefing for Carter. But there's not much to authenticate.
Wait, a briefing for Carter?
Yeah, a briefing.
Because I just had Sheehan in here talking about how Carter wanted to know, and he had to go to the underneath Congress to try to get the docs.
Yeah, well, this is one of the challenges with this particular document, this Aquarius document, is that allegedly it was a briefing for Carter. And I don't know, I have to go look it up on the web, but you can't do much investigation or analysis on it because it doesn't have a bunch of facts to check. And so It's in the gray basket, as Stan Friedman would call it, or the neutral zone, where you can't push the needle of authenticity one way or the other. And so you're just left with, interesting, sort of motif of that particular document. So, and so there's a lot of...
Watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here